Good morning, students. Welcome to the session on sampling fundamentals. Okay, so let's move on further on this. Now, to start with, let us first try to understand what is sampling. Now, sampling is simply, you can say, the representative of the lot. You have a bigger population, and from there you have to select few to represent the total population. Now take an example of Indian contingent at Olympic Games. Now India has a population of 1.3 billion, but only 300 400 people participate in that Olympic, and they represent the whole country, that is the whole population. So simply, if you define it as the representative of the lot, as per the researcher, generally takes a small portion of population for study is taken for the study, which is referred as a sample. The process of selecting a sample from the population is called the sampling. Okay. So moving on this. So let's move on this. Now why is sampling essential? Simple logic is sampling saves the time. Naturally, when the whole population is served and when a small sample is served, time will be saved. It will save the money. When the research process is destructive in nature, sampling minimizes the destruction. Sampling broadens the scopes of the study because you get in minimum time and minimum cost you can do the research. So it can broaden the scope of the study. Fine. And in most cases, let us try to understand this point. In most cases, complete census is not possible, and hence sampling is the only option left. When the population size is so huge, it's not possible to survey each unit, so you have to select a sample. Okay, next. Now these are the certain steps in the sampling process. Step 1 is you have to define the target population from where you are going to select the sample. Then you have to define the sampling frame, which is a part of the population, the region from where you are going to select the sample. Then third step is you have to choose the appropriate sampling method, the method you are going to use for the selecting the sample. We are going to discuss this later on. You have to determine what should be the size of the sample appropriate for the study, and then you would execute the sampling process. These are 5 simple steps in a sampling process. Okay. Now this is now explained in detail. So step 1 is you have to define the population, then define the sampling frame. Okay. Now sampling frame can be a city out of the whole country, it can be a city, if it is a city it can be a colony, and so on. Then sampling is done. You have to use the sampling technique, which sampling technique to use, whether it will be with replacement or without replacement, and so on. Sample size must be determined, what should be the sample size, and then you execute the process. Okay. Now there are basic 2 categories of sampling methods, random and non-random. Random is basically lottery sampling, where there is an equal chance of selection of each unit. Okay. Like in lottery, we put the names of all the participants in, and then from there we randomly pick anyone, so there will be equal chance of selection. Non-random is where element of bias can be there. In non-random sampling, members of samples are not selected by chance. It's not a chance. You have to use some logic, some biasness to select the sample unit. Some other factors like familiarity of the researcher with the subject, convenience are. So we are going to take this in detail in subsequent slides. So these are 2 types of methods. Okay. Now this is what we are going to plan of our study. Sampling methods: random, non-random. Random way, there is simple random sampling. We have a stratified, cluster, systematic, multiple stage. So there are 5 multi-stage. There are 5 methods in random, and there are 4 in non-random sampling. And these are quota sampling, convenience, judgment sampling, and snowball sampling. So we are going to now do them in detail in the subsequent slides. Okay. Simple random sampling I already explained to you, where an equal chance of each unit has a equal chance of getting selected. Simple lottery sampling. Stratified sampling is like you divide the whole population into various groups, and each group is called a strata. The uniqueness of the strata is that each unit in a particular strata will be similar on a certain criteria. Like there is a student population of 200 students. Now we segregate on the basis of the educational qualification, BA, BSc, BTech, BCom and so on. And then each of these set of students of same qualification are called strata. Fine. So this is what, and from each strata we select n number of students for a particular. Now how to select the students, how many to select from each strata? We use a proportionate sampling technique. Proportion to the size of the strata, we select the size of we select the units from each strata. If the strata is bigger, number of units are more, then more units are selected. If it is smaller strata, less number of units are selected, and so on. The technique is used. So each unit are homogeneous. So within the strata, the units are homogeneous, but each strata is completely different. So between it's heterogeneous. Okay. So this is what proportional technique is explained in this, which we discussed just now. Cluster sampling. Cluster sampling is somewhat really also a type of strata, but a different approach. What we do is we divide the population into various clusters and non-overlapping areas of clusters. Now each cluster is homogeneous, unit of each cluster are heterogeneous, but the each cluster compared to the other cluster will be homogeneous. Suppose there are 50 students in a class, so I arrange them in alphabetic order 1 to 50. Now I form a cluster of 10 10 10, top 1 to 10, 10 to 20, 20 to 30, roll number wise. Fine. First 10, next 10, next 10, and so on. So there are 5 clusters. Now I have to select a sample of 20 students. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to randomly select any 2 clusters. Fine. So that will make me 20. So the difference between the stratified and cluster is that from each strata you select n number of units, whereas in cluster you select the whole cluster in one go. This is the difference. Another difference between the stratified and cluster is that, like in stratified, within the units are homogeneous, between they are heterogeneous, where it is reverse in cluster. Within it is heterogeneous and between it is homogeneous. It's just the reverse of the sampling, stratified sampling. Now systematic sampling or quasi-random is like it is you have predefined criteria or system for selecting the sampling units. Suppose in one of the township you have to select 10 households now, and there are 500 households. So what I am going to do is I will start from house number 10 or house number 100. You have to start from any point, that is a random part of it, any house you select randomly, and leaving every 50 houses you select the or any 20 houses you select the next house. So there is a random aspect selecting a first household, and then there is a system for selecting the other houses, predefined system. This is explained here. Fine. An example is also given in this. So moving on next, multi-stage sampling. Multi-stage sampling, as the name suggests, there are various stages of sampling. Suppose you have to do a nationwide survey. Now 1.3 billion is very difficult to select these samples. So what we do, we divide the country into 4 zones: north, south, east, west. From each zone we select a state, and from each stage we select a city, and from each city we select the locality. So there are subsequent stage of selection, and this is called the multi-stage sampling. Non-random sampling, as I told you, where there is not equal chance of selection, there can be an element of bias. First of them is quota sampling. Now quota sampling is similar to stratified sampling. What we do, we divide the population on the basis of certain criteria. It can be age, gender, income group, education level, anything, which fine. Now these are called strata in stratified. Now these are called the groups in quota sampling. Now researcher uses non-random sampling methods to gather data from one stratum until the required. Now non-random method is used for selecting from each group, whereas the random method is used for selecting from each stratum. So this is a fundamental difference of quota sampling and stratified sampling. Okay, so This makes it different. Convenience sampling, where the researcher uses the convenience to select the sample. Now, who is easily approachable, you can take this, you can take the information from those. Like these days, online surveys are being done, which is a convenience sampling technique. Judgment is the researcher uses his or own judgment to select a sampling unit. Fine. Snowball sampling is, in snowball sampling, survey respondents are selected on the basis of referrals. Now, if someone says that you collect the information from this respondent because he knows them, then you can take the information. So, whether the referral is used to approach the respondent and collect information. This is called snowballing sampling. The sampling error, as you know, whenever you select a part from a total population, there will always be an error. A good sampling process can reduce the error, but it cannot eliminate it. So why can these errors occur? First can be the faulty selection, which can be there. Second, the difficult situation to collect information from respondents. Fine. So there are certain situations. There may be language issues where you are not able to select the information from the respondent. There can be some other issues also. Travel issues, transportation issues, various issues can be there. So these are what types of errors. Non-sampling errors are also this: faulty designing, response error, non-response bias, errors in coverage like we just now discussed, and so on. So this is all. We come to the end of this session. Thank you so much.